Welcome to the Future Hamburg Talks. Today I'm happy to introduce you to one of the hidden champions from the Hamburg Metropolitan Region, and the company is located in Drochtersen and called Hatecke GmbH, and they are global market leaders in the production of lifeboats. And our today's guest is the CEO, Dr. Hannes Hatecke. Welcome, Hannes.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Very interesting and exciting times as someone who runs a family business in the 5th generation, and we're definitely going to talk about the challenges. But first, we're going to start with a really beautiful quote that we found, and it is, "We combine tradition, craftsmanship and innovation and show how a family business can take a stand worldwide with responsibility and sustainability." I mean, this sums it all up, but of course we're going to talk about the different topics. But maybe to start with a rather personal question, for you, you run as a CEO, so with a lot of responsibility, a family-run business in the 5th generation. And what does this responsibility mean to you?
Our company is more than 120 years old, so it's quite a large responsibility to still be sustainable after such many years. You have to be innovative all the time, otherwise your company will sooner or later be removed from the market. In our history, we have built many types of boats. We have started with wooden boats. We have built sailing yards. We have built now lifeboats, and we also look into other markets which might be interesting in the future. So we try to stay innovative all the time to not end with the 5th generation, but continue with 6th, 7th, and so on.
I already said it, Hatecke is a hidden champion in the Hamburg Metropolitan Region, but what does Hatecke actually do?
Yes, Hatecke is a boatyard, a very large boatyard. We are building lifeboats that are placed on vessels, cruise vessels, merchant vessels, and are used in the emergency to rescue people from the ship. And we are building these products, these boats, in a very industrial manner. We build more than 200 boats each year, and we have about 300 employees where we build these boats in a very serious-like production. So we have different types, but we have only a few which are built in a series and are then later on placed on cruise vessels and can be seen, I think also in Hamburg, when the cruise vessels enter the harbor. These are the orange or the red or the yellow boats on the side, which are used either for emergency or maybe also when we are thinking about tender boats on the cruise vessels, which are also used for passenger transport to remote islands where the vessel cannot go by itself.
So there's a long, many decades of tradition and a traditional business, and there's a lot of innovation and also maybe even disruptive opportunities. And how do you manage this challenge? I wouldn't say gap, but rather a challenge.
Ooh, that's a challenging question. We are valuing our tradition. We have also employees in our company which are with us for more than 45 years, and we don't want to lose them earlier than we really need, because we start with something very disruptive inside of the company. So we will follow our tradition, but we have to be modern and innovative in the market. And also when we think of our increase of the company during the past years, we went from 100 employees to 300 employees within 15 years. And there are a lot of processes which need to be scaled up, where topics like digitalization have to be performed, and we must see which new processes are required to run such a company.
And how important is it for you to be on track, to know where is the next trend? How can we be innovative? So how do you do that?
We face strong competition in our existing market, where we build lifeboats for the merchant industry. There's a lot of competition coming from Far East, China, and so on. And we see that the market is declining in this area. So in order to still be sustainable, to maybe even grow, we have to address new markets. And new markets are, for us, the cruise industry. Cruise industry is getting bigger and bigger. After the COVID pandemic, we see a lot of new projects, and we have to focus on these markets, and we have to keep our eyes open on new markets. We have difficult times. States are spending more money for defense projects. So this will also be a potential market where we have our eye on.
As I understand, so there are new markets and also new opportunities. And how important for you is it to be located in the north of Germany, in the Hamburg Metropolitan Region, in order to serve those markets and those needs?
Well, that's really our tradition. So during the past decades, we often thought about changing the company in such a way that production is shifted to another country, to another area. But in the end, we always came to the same conclusion. We said, okay, let's do everything here. Let's do our sales here. Let's do our purchasing here. Let's do our production here, of course. Also the administration, the HR, the bookkeeping, and the after-sales activities. And yeah, in the end, I must say, looking back, that was the right decision. We do, for our products, 50% of the value creation right in this area. And this is a really high number, I have to explain. Shipyards or big car manufacturers have maybe around 15 to 20% of value creation in their company. So 50% is a lot. We start with material, with raw material, with glass fibers, with resin, and in the end, there's a complete boat that is just shipped to our customer, and nothing else is required to run it.
So this also means you're not so depending, maybe if you did outsource or if you have to get materials from abroad. But I already heard that there's a lot of change happening, because I heard sales, I heard IT, HR, etc., etc. And due to this, also this cultural change and the new challenges maybe also for employees, you did implement Hatecke Next Generation. So maybe you could give us a brief introduction to what that is and how important it is, especially maybe for employer branding.
Yeah, well, that's a quite short answer. The company has been run by my father for about 30 years. And now he's starting to retire, not completely. We see him often in the company these days, but now the managing directors are my brother and I. And this is the next generation in a physical way, but we have the next generation as an idea. So next generation means new ideas, new processes, doing things more modern than they have been done in the decades before. I don't want to say that this was wrong or so. No, that was really successful. It has brought us to a very good situation. And now we take advantage of this situation and come up with the next generation ideas, which you can find among all departments in our company. We have next generation IT systems. We have next generation products. Let's call it like this. We have boats for markets where we were not in before. We did very, very sophisticated boats for the German police. This hasn't been a market before at all. So a large focus of the next generation topics are on employer branding and HR. Because like every other company at the moment, there's not only the competition in the market where products or services must be sold. I would say there's even a bigger competition in the recruiting of very good employees. You have to be a very attractive employer to attract employees that you are looking for.
Even though that Hatecke is like focusing on a hardware product like the Lifeboats, you already said that a lot of digital solutions are implemented or digitalization becomes more and more important. Could you give us a few examples of what you already implemented and what maybe changed your daily life or that of your employees?
Yeah, very simple example is time checking, to check the working time of every employer. Of course, there are existing solutions, but we have not been satisfied with existing solutions because we couldn't find a very effective way to include this in our enterprise resource planning system. And so, yeah, we thought, okay, what options do we have? What possibilities do we have? And I went to my IT department and said, okay, can we do it on our own? After a short discussion, we said, okay, of course we can do it. We need a small CPU, we need a scanner, we need some chips. We took our 3D printer, made a box, and now we have our own hardware system running, and we can control everything. So this is a starting point, I would say, for digitalization in a company, to get control on your data, on your internal raw data. And we are very happy to be not dependent on any existing solution. And this is a starting point, I would say, for digitalization.
Yeah, but you saw a problem and found a solution internally. Also, one big topic besides the digitalization is sustainability. You already said it's very important for you. And how do you try to decarbonize the production of the lifeboats, and what are your goals for the future?
Yeah, I think our biggest project was building 2 windmills on our production facility. So you know the windmills from the wind parks, but I think we are maybe one of the very few companies who have own windmills on the production ground, and we produce our own green energy for the production. That's a very nice thing to reduce our carbon footprint. So we had a demand from our clients that was clear. But I was surprised afterwards that our own employees are quite happy to see this spirit inside the company that we address by sustainable projects.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like it's very important for the employees. The clients are requiring sustainability. Maybe let's dig a bit deeper into the product itself, the lifeboat. Do they also change? Do they become smarter? So what are maybe the next milestones for you as a company producing those boats?
We have seen development that the boats become more efficient in terms of space. So it's not about engine or so on, but they shall be very compact in order to be placed on a big vessel and to not block, let's say, a balcony of a passenger cabin. So this shall be very small, very compact, and still fit a lot of persons inside. We see that sooner or later, the boats that are not used for emergency, but also used in day-to-day operations, like the tender boats, where passengers are brought from the big cruise vessels to an island where there's not a big harbor, they sooner or later will become driven by electric propulsion. We have also built a prototype, and we're driving our tender boat with electric propulsion on the River Elbe. And yeah, it was fun, this project, and was very quiet. It's not only sustainable, but also very comfortable. And I think sooner or later we will see such products. But of course, what is also required is the willingness to pay from the customers to pay for this extra.
Yeah, so I see a lot is happening. Not only the production is becoming more sustainable, but also the product itself becomes more sustainable. So now we're already coming to an end, but we always ask our guests to complete the following sentence. To me, the Hamburg Metropolitan Region is?
Well, I think the heritage and source of our employees.
That's really nice, I would say, and for our conversation. So thank you very much, Hannes, for giving us more insights of challenges of family-run business close to Hamburg, located in the metropolitan region of Hamburg. Good luck. And if you did like our conversation, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.